Crystal Rift is a grid-based dungeon crawler from developers John Hibbins and Nick Pittam. It's due for early access release on Monday, but John was kind enough to send us his latest build to try out before its official release. First off, Crystal Rift should appeal to those of an older generation who grew up with the classic 2D games such as Dungeon Master and Eye of the Beholder. Its grid-based movement feels very retro as you push forward or sideways on your thumbpad to move one grid at a time. Turning around is handled by the shoulder buttons, as pushing right or left on your thumbpad will only make you sidestep in that direction. Adding to the retro feel are the graphics, which look like a darker, more sinister version of Minecraft's block system. The textures used look cartoony, and from time to time you will come across shadows or spirits that have glowing red eyes and are designed to spook you, but for the most part they don't look threatening, with the exception of the wiry human figure that walks the halls from time to time. The first thing that will hit you if you're playing this on your Gear VR or DK2 is the scale of the rooms and corridors. They feel very small, or you feel very large. The ceiling throughout the game feels as if it's just inches from your head as you walk around the game environment. This gives you a sense of what it must be like to be a rat in a maze as you try to figure your way out. The gameplay itself is pretty simple. You navigate your way through this maze of corridors, finding keys or crystals to unlock doors and pull levers or activate switches to navigate traversal obstacles. In later levels, you will come across some enemies that are locked to certain pathways, but they don't cause much of a challenge on normal mode, which is what I was playing Crystal Rift on. The enemies I encountered were a green glob, a floating star, and a lump of lava that spits fireballs at you. They don't do much, but if they touch you, or if a fireball hits you, then you will lose a life, as it's instant death, and this returns you to the beginning of the level. Thankfully, the levels are not too long, so you never need to backtrack much, and thankfully there is a game save option at the beginning of each level. As you explore deeper into the dungeons, you will collect scrolls that have a story narrative about prisoners that are being experimented on. As you descend, the messages become more and more cryptic, and it becomes clear that either the prisoners are crazy or the dead are rising from the grave, tormenting the inhabitants of Crystal Rift. This early access release includes the first 10 levels of the game, which we were able to get through in a couple of hours. Included in this release is a level editor, which allows you to create your own levels and share them. This is a welcome addition, and the level editor is very intuitive to use in VR, and you can build quite an extensive dungeon crawler within a few hours. My only real complaint with Crystal Rift is that there is not much variety from level to level. Opening doors and finding keys and gems can get a bit repetitive after a time. On some occasions you can get lost and walk in circles, as some locations look very similar, and it can be hard to memorise pathways if they all look the same. This issue was also present in dungeon crawlers of the 80s, so at least Crystal Rift is staying true to its roots. Overall, I would say that Crystal Rift is enjoyable, if a bit easy on normal difficulty. The game runs butterly smooth in VR and looks pretty, but I do hope that the second half of the game introduces some new enemies and environments to mix things up a bit. Having the level editor really helps with the overall value of the game, and it should appeal to those who enjoy world building in Minecraft. Crystal Rift goes on sale on Monday and is certainly worth your time and money if you're into retro dungeon crawlers. We will put a link in the description below.